YouTube. Welcome back to the official first episode of Is This Thing On with your host, Faith. And today we're going to be diving into some WNBA kind of preview talk with the season starting tomorrow. I know I'm late recording this video. I just been busy, work, getting home, tired. And also I kind of wanted to wait on some of the rosters to be finalized because a lot of cuts could, change how I see things. So I kind of wanted to wait to see, because there were some very unexpected cuts and some very, of course, expected cuts, but we're going to get into all that right now. Alright, so the first thing I kind of want to talk about is just kind of briefly go over some of the teams and kind of see how I have them stacked up for this season. So I put them in 4 different categories. I have your championship contenders, I have your playoff teams who I think are going to do well, I have your fringe playoff teams where it's like if they go on like this stretch, they possibly could make a push to get in the playoffs. Not sure if they're going to make it, but I see that they could make it if, something just magically happens. And then I have kind of just the teams that we're going to say, you know what? I don't even know if you'll say thank you to them, but just kind of good job. Keep going. So let's get into some of these teams that I have. All right, so we'll kind of start from the bottom. I do have my handy dandy notebook right here. We'll start from the bottom with the teams that I think, not really going to do well. They're just looking for improvement for them over the course of the season. Teams that are just looking for direction. First team, I do have Golden State. They made a lot of very, I would say, irrational decisions really since they started, since they became a team in the league. They got on, they did their little press, I think they had a press conference when they first got the team, and the owner was like, yeah, we want to win a championship in the first 5 years of the team existing. It don't seem like it with some of the moves that they made. First of all, they cut Cheyenne Sellers without even seeing her in real time. She didn't even get to play a preseason game. They cut Letitia Amihir, who was one of their best players in the 2 preseason games that they did play. But even before that, the draft, you got the 5th pick, which that's not terrible. Of course, you were hoping to get, something higher. A lot of people thought they should have got number 1, but that's not how life works, or draft and expansion teams get. So they did get the 5th pick, and they decided to draft an overseas talent. I'm not familiar with her. I'm not gonna say that was a bad idea, but in short term wise, it is a bad idea, because I know they probably okay, we're just gonna kind of fill it out right now, but you drafted her and she's not even coming over this year. But hopefully she can provide for them for the future. But that was a little bit questionable. They drafted Cheyenne Sellers in the 2nd round, then they drafted Caitlin Chen. They have 0 drafted rookies on their team currently, and that's just kind of I don't know, we just have to see what they're gonna do. Very interesting team. Their center is Timmy Fekbenle. Very good player, but seems like, if I remember correctly, looking at their roster, I want to say that's their only center on the team. So I guess that's what they wanted. So it's just gonna be about, oh, they're a new team, and oh, look, Golden State, woo. But outside of that, I just don't think it'll be anything exciting coming from them. Your star player is Tiffany Hayes, who's 35, I think. She can get buckets, but that's about it. Not really much to look forward to past that. Kate Martin, high potential player, but we just don't know, because we only saw her in limited action last year when she was on the Aces. So she could be a good thing for them. She might not be. Or she might just be what she was last year, but we won't even know, because also you go on, 3 or 4 of their players are not even playing in the season opener tomorrow. And it's that's why I have them at the bottom, just to simply say that. So we'll see with Golden State. My next team that I also have in that tier is the Washington Mystics. The Mystics, only thing I'm kind of excited about seeing from them is their young players. Sonya, Kiki. Unfortunately, Georgia got injured. I thought Georgia was gonna be very fun to watch this year. Unfortunately, she did tear her ACL and is out for the year. But with the Mystics, yeah, they also had an injury bug over there too. I really, really hope Shakira Austin can get her body right because she's very, very, very talented when she's playing the game. I think Aaliyah Edwards is dealing with an injury right now. I think she was kind of in and out last year too, and I just want them to get healthy because I think they can have a really good young core. But yeah, with them, new coach, really new personnel, I think almost all the way around. So very interested to see what they do. I feel like they could be one of those teams that they'll mess around and like win some games and then be right there in that playoff hunt. But then on the flip side, it's like the rest of their roster is just kind of like you got Brittany Sykes. We know what kind of player she is. She can get buckets and she'll, one of the best defenders in the league. Then you got Stephanie Dawson. She can hit threes. She's solid in the post, but outside of that, it's kind of just like. So if they can get healthy, I think they can really shock some people, especially with Shakira in the post, and they can kind of run some interesting stuff with her and like Steph. So really with them, it's just getting healthy and just seeing what they can do, see if they can turn up. All right, so now on to my fringe playoff teams. So I think they could make a playoff push, but it's like, I don't know. It depends on really how they gel and really what they look like. So my first team up is the Los Angeles Sparks. So with the Sparks, they just acquired Kelsey Plum. They have Rakia in her second year. Cam Brink will be back, I think they said in June, from her ACL injury from last year. Azurá Stevens. I also want to say Stevenson. Azurá Stevens, looking healthy this year. Hopefully she can stay healthy and provide for her team. Odyssey Sims. That team, that's why I'm like, this team is kind of like, they do have a few rookies. I know Sarah Ashley Barker and Sanaya Fagan. But that's kind of why I had them as a fringe playoff team. It's like, granted, only 8 teams can make it to the playoffs, but they could still be in that hunt. And like I think they were last year or real close to being in it. But yeah, LA could probably get some good scoring from Rakia and Kelsey. But outside of that, I just don't really know what to expect from them. Defensively, I'm just kind of like, I don't think it's gonna be too pretty, but should be a fun team, fun dynamic team. But for some reason, I don't know why I don't want to put them at the bottom because I feel like with Rakia is gonna have a really big year. I really think she's gonna have a big year. Offensively, that girl can flat out score the basketball, and it's just, I think she's gonna have a big year. Kelsey, new role, new team, veteran leader on a very young team. So, like, Los Angeles is just slightly in a better position than Golden State and Washington, which is why I have them as that like fringe playoff team. They could be in the hunt late in the season, but yeah. But like the best thing, I know I said they're not too much to desire on the defensive end. Cam Brink will obviously help that when she gets back, but of course she's gonna be coming off an ACL injury, so it's like we don't know how much she's gonna play, how much what her minutes and what the rotation looks like with her back. My next fringe playoff team, kind of in that same category as LA, is the Connecticut Sun. Now, I'll go ahead and say this. I was a Connecticut Sun fan for the last, 4 years? I'd say probably 3 years. I'd say probably about the last 3 years. I am an Alyssa Thomas fan. I just kind of gravitated towards that team when I really started getting into the bubble and stuff. So I just kind of followed them for the last few years. If you don't know, they did lose, 5 starters, and Marina Mabrey is still over there. They did acquire Tina Charles in the offseason, back where she started. So I'm guessing this is her last year. could be. I was kind of expecting her to be like on a championship contending team because she could still hoop. Not saying she's ring chasing, but not like the typical ring chase where it's like, well, I'm gonna just go sit at the end of the bench and see if we get all the way. Now she was actually trying to I guess she's saying, hey, kind of want to end my career where I started. She went to UConn, drafted by Connecticut. So, but I have Connecticut as this fringe team because their roster is just really not. It's cute. I'll say their roster is cute. They did draft some really good pieces in the draft. They drafted Anissa Morrow. I know she was going through an injury, but I'm sure she'll be back. She'll be very impactful for them. They drafted Sanaya Rivers. I know she was dealing with a personal matter. And I'm not sure when they said she'll be back, but I think she'll be good for them as well. It's kind of like that same situation with like that Washington is dealing with, but they have 3 rookies that could really possibly come in and really impact and grow together. And then they drafted Rhea Marshall in the second round. Rhea, potential out the world, like shot blocking, rebounding, and she's actually a really good passer from the center position. So it's a really good skill to have. But they also have Olivia Nelson-Ododa. She's been in the league for, I think this will be her 4th year. Also has a bunch of potential. She showed a lot of potential last year on the Connecticut team, playoff team. And she's been playing in China too. So hopefully that experience of her playing in China is, going to do wonders for her. And that's kind of like with Connecticut. It's like they have that. I know they have some overseas talent that they're supposed to be having coming in, but we just really don't know how that translates to the league. Some of them come over, like you have like your Fee bitch and you have your Marine Johannes. They come over and they do fine, but we just don't know what they're gonna look like in the league. They did have Diamond DeShields, and literally today they waived her. Not exactly sure what happened there. I know she was injured for their 2 preseason games that they played, and she's been kind of dealing with a lot of injury on and off for the last couple of years. So I really hope she can get healthy and really get back to that Diamond DeShields, pre-COVID, because she was nice. Of having Marina Mabry score, but it's like with Marina, it's like, have we seen Marina lead a team? Like when she was on Dallas, she had Arike. They were both young, so neither one of, well, Arike was the leader. I'm not gonna say neither one of them were the leader, but they had Arike. When she went to Chicago, you had Kalia Copper, you had Courtney Williams. So again, she really wasn't the leader. Then when she was still in Chicago before she got traded, she kind of was the leader, and obviously she didn't like being the leader, or that's what they say. I'm not gonna sit here and assume she didn't like being a leader, but things didn't work out for her over there. She got traded to Connecticut. She wasn't the leader for Connecticut. They had AT, they had DB, so it's kind of like, can she be a leader? I know Tina Charles is probably gonna be their veteran leader, but like, can Marina carry the load of being that main scorer for a team efficiently? We know she's not that great defensively, and I think she was kind of battling a little injury, but I think from Unrivaled, but I think she's okay now. But that's where that question mark is for me, is what kind of leader can she be? And that'll kind of determine, like, can they make the playoffs? Like, can they sneak in? Because we've known Connecticut over the years to not really have the most desirable rosters, and they make the playoffs. They be one of the better teams in the league. Do they still have that like vibe, that aura, that culture over there, or was it really the players that were on the team? So Marina has a lot of questions to answer. She should be wanting to play well, because I think, well, for most of the league, I actually saw a thing today. Most of the league is going to be up for new contracts in 2026. But Marina should be looking to play well, so she can be one of those ones that are rewarded for playing well. and she won it off of the team. So this is the year to kind of, it's like a prove it year for her. Like, are you going to be worth this amount of money? So this next group of teams in my handy dandy book, I have my playoff teams. I'm not gonna put them in order because I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I think this team's gonna be an 8 seed when they really could be a 1 seed. Oh, I think this team. These are my playoff teams. These are my teams that I say think they can go to the playoffs, make the playoffs, either be first round, second round, whatever round. But these are my teams that I think will make the playoffs. I have Seattle, Indiana, Atlanta, Chicago, Phoenix, and Dallas. Now, will I say some teams I think have a better chance of being high in that playoff area? Yes. Some teams that might be lower that could fall into that fringe playoff team. Also, I do have that as well. But I'm not going to do that right now. We'll just kind of see how the season goes. You know, injuries and stuff happen like that. So I don't want to put them in there right now. But just to kind of quickly go over what I think some of the teams, some things I like that the teams are might have acquired or put together this year. Some of the things I don't like that they did per se. So starting off with Seattle, I like their team. They're going to be really big. You're going to have NECA. You're going to have Ezzy. You're going to have Dominique. I don't want to butcher her last name, so I'm just going to refer to her as Dominique. I'm not sure. And then they have Lee Yuru, which is also another one of the tallest posts in the league. I'm not exactly sure how tall she is. I think she's about 6'7" or 6'8". Might be even taller than that. So I think they're going to be really big. Defensively, I think they're going to be really, really good. You got Skylar, a dog. You got Gabby Williams, a dog. You got Ezzy. We already know what Ezzy is. Ezzy be sending shots to oblivion, but I think they can be really good defensively. Only question I have for them is, what does their bench look like? Erica Wheeler was a good role player. I feel like last year in Indy, she wasn't asked to do a lot, so she didn't do a lot. But I know the year before, when she was in Indy, even though they weren't a playoff team, she still provided solid minutes for them. So just kind of seeing what she'll be able to do for them. Lee Yuru off the bench for them. Good post rotation. Wonder if Dominique will come off the bench. I'm not sure exactly what their lineup will look like, but just kind of see, what they'll look like. That's my only kind of question about it. But I like Seattle. I think they have a very solid team. All right, next, Indiana. Indiana is going to be miles better than they were last year. They have really good rotational pieces, really, from one to, I think they're only carrying 11 on their team. So from top to bottom, they have very good rotational pieces. They do have Steph White. Their dark horse that they have on their staff, to me, is Breon January. She did wonders for Connecticut, playing and coaching, so kudos to her. But they have a good team. They have a really good team. The only thing, I still have a question mark defensively for them, perimeter wise. Caitlin's not the best defender. I wouldn't sit here and call her the worst, but she's not the best defender. Kelsey Mitchell is also not the best defender in the world. And I know they have Natasha Howard, but they pull her outside, and it's going to leave Aaliyah Boston down there by herself. So very interested to see what they do defensively. I do like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall off the bench. So that's the only question mark I have for them. But offensively, they are going to be running. So I like Indy. I think they'll have a very exciting year. All right, Atlanta. I think Atlanta is going to be good. Only question about them, they don't have a lot of post depth, and that's kind of really it. Like, I like their team. Like, very fun team. Atlanta has always had a very fun team to me. Yeah, so only question about them is their post depth. So after Atlanta, we have Chicago. Chicago is going to be miles better than they were last year. They got a point guard. Kudos to them. They got a point guard. In their preseason game, that pick and roll looked nice. Very nice. They have shooters. They have perimeter defenders. Well, yeah, they got perimeter defenders. Sloop, yeah, I wouldn't rely on Sloop to be the perimeter defender, but they are better. They're going to be a lot better, a lot more fresh on the eyes. Because sometimes watching Chicago last year was like, ouch. But they're going to be a lot better this year. So the only thing I kind of question with Chicago is that kind of backup point guard position. They do have Mariah Jefferson on their roster, but if you are familiar with the WNBA, then you kind of know that Mariah Jefferson has dealt with a lot of injuries for the last, I know since I've been watching, it's probably been every season since I've been watching, so that's like the last 4 to 5 years she has dealt with an injury that has kind of slowed her down. And when she's available, I think she's very solid, but the best ability is what? Availability. So that is going to be her biggest thing. Yeah, so kind of just like, if Sloot is not there, then what? Because that second preseason game, I think Sloot didn't play. They played Minnesota twice. Sloot didn't play, and it was almost like their posts weren't being involved. I think Angel, she played majority of the game, I want to say, and she had like maybe like 3 to 4 shot attempts. Camilla, when I first checked in, she didn't have that many shot attempts. So it's like, are they getting involved when Sloot is not on the floor? So that's the biggest thing that I'll kind of be watching for, to see how they're doing. Next I have the Phoenix Mercury. All right, so the positives for the Phoenix Mercury: they have Kalia Copper, they got Satu Sabli, they got Alyssa Thomas. That's it. They will kind of be the team that I'm watching, because Alyssa Thomas is kind of one of my favorite players to watch. So that is the team that I kind of will be paying attention to. But like, outside of them, their roster is it's kind of like, you gotta make me believe. Like, that's kind of with them. I think they have good pieces. A lot of them I'm not familiar with at all. That's why I'm just kind of, Sammy Wickham, we know she is 3-point shooter. Got Kalani Brown, 6'6", big. She had a solid season last year. She's finally able to stick in the WNBA, so that's good. But with the style of play that Phoenix is wanting to run, so if you're not, not online, Phoenix wants to run a lot of, basically they just shooting a lot of threes and going in the paint. A lot of like what the NBA does, because their coach did come from the Orlando Magic, so they're not really focused on that mid-range. And with Kalani, it's like, she's big, like she's a true big, like, I wouldn't say back to the basket, I think she has a solid face up, like a little pull up, but she's more of a back to the basket kind of big. She's not the fastest, so that's why I'm kind of like, because you got 2 of the fastest players in the league on the same team. You got Kalia Copper, you got Alyssa Thomas. You got to move those feet down that court. So, interested to see what they do there. But I think with those 3, they'll be able to make the playoffs. They'll be better than a lot of those teams mentioned before in those lower categories. They'll be better than them with those 3 on the floor. So it's like, if they're on the floor, then I think they should be okay to stay afloat in the playoff picture. But just kind of have to see. They did look solid. I won't lie, they look solid in preseason. I think chemistry is gonna be their biggest thing, because they are one of the teams with like a newer, really whole team. Like, I think outside of Kalia Copper and Natasha Mack, I want to say that whole team is pretty much new. So, yeah, they got a lot to work on chemistry-wise. All right, and then for my final just playoff team, I know it's not technically, we got one more category to go, but my final, like, just in the playoffs, I think they'll be a good playoff team, or a playoff team. I won't say good, but they'll be a playoff team, is the Dallas Wings. All right, so Dallas, if you look at them on paper, very exciting team. You got Enrique, you got Paige, you got Dejanay, um, Isaiah James, you got Nelissa Smith. Very exciting team. But you also do have a new head coach, and you just kind of have to see how those pieces are going to work together. They do have Maisha Hines Allen, so I think they'll be a solid team. Like, they're going to be one of those teams where it's like, you're not going to like playing them. Like, you're getting hounded by Dejanay on defense. And then you trying to guard Enrique on the other side, trying to guard Paige on the other side. Like, just all night long. So, with them, just kind of interested to see how they look gelling wise, like how they gel together. Only kind of question I have about them is also their posts. Nelissa Smith, hopefully, this could be a better year for her. She was in Indiana, now she's in a new situation, so hopefully this can be a good year for her. But with Dallas, I think they'll also be a very exciting team. I am going to a Dallas Wings game, so I hope they put on a show. I really do. So, I gotta forget it. They got Ty Harris. I think she'll be very solid off the bench. They just have a lot of pieces similar to what did I say? Like Indiana, not necessarily. They don't match up 1-to-1 with Indiana, but they just have talent from top to bottom on their roster. So that'll be very interesting to see. On to my championship contenders. I have 3 championship contenders. Barring, please, we're gonna put it in the air now, no injuries. But my 3 championship contenders. First, I have Minnesota. I just think after last year, after that game 5, after that foul, was it a foul? Was it not a foul? Comment down below if you do think it was a foul, if you know what I'm talking about. They're just going to have that fire, we need to come back and we need to build on what we did last season. They're pretty much returning their same team from last year. They did get Jess Shepard back. They lost Xanda Lassini. Ooh, that was a hard name to say. They did lose her to the expansion draft, but they got Jessica Shepard back. If you're not familiar with Jessica Shepard, why am I saying Jessica? Jess. They call her Jess. Jess Shepard. You should familiarize yourself with her. Do it all player. Offense, defense, shooting, passing, everything. They did get her back. They did. I know they signed a center from France. Not sure how much she's gonna play. But I think they're just gonna have that fire to come back and to win. So I like Minnesota. To my next championship contender, I do have the Las Vegas Aces. I've been seeing a lot of people have been down on the Aces because they think that they don't have a bench. I think the days of Vegas not having a bench is over. They acquired Jewel Lloyd. They acquired Cheyenne Parker-Tyus. And then on the bench, they drafted Aaliyah Nye, who was a surprise to me. I wasn't very familiar with her game. I did see her in a couple games for Alabama last year, but she came in preseason. She was lighting it up. So you have Tiffany Mitchell, Aaliyah Nye, Crystal Bradford. She's a dog. She's going to go after it. They do have Dana Evans. I know Dana Evans is not a lot of people's cup of tea. I think the Aces are going to go through a stretch at the beginning of the season where they're going to be kind of up and down. I mean, when you have Asia Wilson on your team, you got Jackie Young, you got Chelsea Gray, you got Jewel Lloyd. I think that's enough to keep you afloat until all of your pieces get back. Now, they're going to be tired. But I think they still do have a solid team to where, they're still just going to be head and shoulders better than a lot of teams. And then once they get fully healthy, Cheyenne Parker-Tyus is going to be out because she's pregnant. She's, I'm not sure exactly when they said she was coming back. Maybe around All-Star break. I'm not sure, so I don't want to rush her back or anything. But I think they'll be solid. And I think once they get back, everybody, and have that nice rotation going, they're good. Now, I'm not going to be the one to sit here and rag on Kirsten Bell. But her days do seem to be numbered, unfortunately. And she has been getting a lot of hate. So I'm not gonna sit here and dogpile on her. But this is kind of gonna be a big season for her. But Vegas, I like them. A lot of people don't, because a lot of people are just haters. But you got Asia Wilson on the team. I think you'll be all right. Speaking of Asia Wilson, I did indeed cop them what? The A1s, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Asia Wilson. Go get you a pair. Go get you a pair. I'm sorry, I was trying them on. That's why they look a little beat up. I haven't even played in them yet, but go get you some. They just dropped 2 more pair today. Go get you some. What you waiting on? You snooze, you lose. Cause I ain't gonna lie, they flying off the shelf. I got lucky. They said these was going in 5 minutes. I got them on the first day, May 6th. But yeah, Aces solid. All right, and for my last playoff team, championship contender, the New York Liberty. Of course, the New York Liberty is going to come out. They want to defend their title. They want to go back to back. Sabrina, Stewie, John Quayle. You had those 3 on your team, I think you'll be okay. You'll be fine. They did lose a few pieces. They lost Kayla Thornton and lost Vandersloot. But they did acquire Natasha Cloud. She's a very solid point guard defensively, an upgrade from a Sloot. And assist wise, she's been top. I'm not gonna say top 3, but I want to say at least like top 5 or 6 in assists in the last like 3 years. So playing point guard, passing wise, very solid for them. I do think their bench is better now. You still got Fibich. You still have Sabali, the Sabali sister Niara. Isabel Harrison, I know, also not a lot of people's cup of tea, but I think for her role in New York, she's going to be solid, rebounding, just shooting around the rim, mid-range wise. So I just don't see why New York wouldn't be a contender, trying to defend their title, you know. So I have them up there now. But those are my just kind of tiers of where I have some teams. Things could change based on the first day. Opening weekend, I could come back and be like, scratch everything I said in that video. I was wrong, but all right. So now we got our teams and our tiers out the way. Just a little preview of what I think some of the teams are going to do. All right. So I'm ready for this WNBA season. I hope y'all tune in, tap in. If you're not watching the W, tap in, find a way to tap in. It's available. If you are watching the W, comment down below the team that you're going to be rooting for this season. Or if you're not rooting for a team, if you're looking for a team to root for, I'll help you find a team to root for. Comment some of your favorite players that you excited to see this year. And let's just turn up and have a good WNBA season. I do plan on going live probably on like some Fridays. When summertime hits, I do plan on going live probably couple times out the week, watching some games, probably on days where there's like probably at least like 1 to 2 games if they're not on at the same time. I do plan on going live, just chilling, watching the game. So yeah, I'll drop my Twitch down below. Not sure if I'll go live on YouTube or if it'll be on TikTok, but I'll drop all that information down below so you can follow my other socials. But thank you for tuning in. I hope to be back soon with some kind of first weekend thoughts. Oh, I gotta forget, I am going to Phoenix this Saturday to watch their home opener. I do plan on vlogging. Plan on it. I plan on vlogging. Don't know if it's gonna happen. That's the goal. That's the plan. So if I do, you'll see it. If I don't, just forget I even said any of that. So thank you for tapping in with me, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, post notifications, share it with your mama, your daddy, your little sister, your little brother. Tell them to come tap in with Faith, and